I'm Shelby.
And I'm Courtney.
We're exploring our past, looking forward to our future, and living for the present, all while learning how to live magically.
How are ya?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Okay, we had a really great pod today, but what was your takeaway?
My takeaway was actually something that KG said that is kind of tying into the new year for me. And it's kind of this idea that you don't need to wait for New Year's to make a resolution.
Love that.
You should just do it right now.
Yes.
I love that.
I love that too.
Before the anticipation and the anxiety build up and the whole thing, it doesn't have to be like this whole situation. It's just like, if you're ready for change, why don't you make the change?
Do it. Yep. My New Year's resolution is always like, just be better than I was the year before, you know?
Yeah.
Like, nothing crazy, but like, just like make small changes and just get better as a person. That's
perfect.
Yeah. So we took a couple weeks off, but we're back. We're recharged. And today we had a lovely guest on, Kristen, who also goes by KG, and you can find her on Instagram at Living the KG Life. And she's incredible.
Incredible.
She is currently training to run the Dopey. And I don't want to give too much away, but I will say that if you really just can't get through our whole podcast, which you should, you have to listen to her tip to live magically, because that got me.
Yeah, me too.
Like, yeah, I think I'm going to go be friends with Kristen. I think you're going to be friends with Kristen. And
she is invited to our tribe.
And I think everybody's going to be friends with her. What an incredible human. She's going to talk about it a little bit, about her fundraiser that she's doing for running Dopey. Please, I'm going to put the link in the bio here, or the bio, or the description, or whatever you call it. And if we could, if you have $1 to spare, let's give her some motivation to keep going, because she is crushing it.
I loved her idea that if you donate $5, you get to pick a song on her playlist. Like, I'm ready to give her my $5 to pick a terrible song.
Oh, terrible song. I was thinking that we could donate $5 and give her Happily Ever After.
Yeah, okay,
There is nothing like running to Happily Ever After. We know that.
Let's do it.
Yes, I'm in. Well, today's conversation was so good. And again, please listen to it. And if anything, fast forward to her tip to live magically, because that was
magic.
All right, let's jump into this. Here we go. Hey guys.
Hey.
Hello.
We have KG, Kristen, here. We were just talking before we hopped on here that if you were just Kristen, if you were KG, what your name was, what you prefer to go by. And you told us.
Yeah, it's a very common question, actually. And I get it all the time. And I tell people, Kristen is fine, KG is fine. As long as it's something nice, I will respond to it. So
anything nice. That's fair. Awesome. Well, we want to start by getting to know you a little bit. And then we have a lot to talk about with you.
I'm ready.
But
let's do it.
First things first is, I know you're a Boston girl, and everybody can tell by your accent. I love it. I hope I gain it by the end of this podcast.
There's a lot.
But have you had to have lived in Boston or that area your whole life? Yes?
Yeah. So I'm just outside of Boston in Medford. And it's funny because not only have I always lived in the Boston area, I've always lived in Medford, and in like a 1 mile straight line. Like the house that I grew up in as a kid, the house we moved to in like high school, and the house that I bought is in the middle, straight up and down one hill. So I have not gone far.
That's basically me too. My parents live like 3 miles down the road, and it's not far. And I live next to my aunt and uncle. My grandparents live from it's a whole thing.
It's a New England thing, we don't go too far.
Maybe it is a New England thing. Then there's Courtney, who's just like moving everywhere. So
I'm always fascinated. I wish that I had done that. I always say I commuted to school in Boston for undergrad, and I always wish that I went to school somewhere else, or did study abroad or something. So whenever people live other places or have moved to other cities, countries, states, tell me everything. My brother was in the military for years, so he's traveled everywhere and lived a bunch of places, and I just haven't left.
I mean, it's New England though. I always say that I'm never going to leave either.
Yeah. The seasons keep you humble, you know?
That's what I say. Yeah. But speaking of traveling, you do travel to Disney quite a bit.
I do.
But when you're not visiting Disney, what could we catch you doing here in Boston?
Good question. Definitely at probably a Boston sports game of some kind, probably a Bruins game in season. I'm a big Bruins fan. I love Taylor Swift, so you can probably catch me dancing to some kind of Taylor Swift or scream singing in my car. Taylor also. Big family, friends kind of group that I have around here. So I'm really close with everybody and we are all together a lot. And one of the things that we also do I'm on the board for is a trust that we have for pancreatic cancer research at Mass General Hospital in Boston called Granara-Scarry Trust, which when we talk Run Disney, we'll talk a little bit about that. But I do a lot of that as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We could be best friends, truly.
Yeah.
I remember saying that years ago when I started following you on Instagram. I was like, Shelby is destined to be my friend. All of the things meant to be.
Well, I need some friends. So if you want to be my friend, we can be friends.
Here we are.
But so we kind of just briefly touched on this, but I get this question a lot living in New England and traveling to Disney a lot. And everyone always says, will you ever move to Florida or Disney like Courtney did? Do you ever see yourself moving to Florida? Do you get this question a lot?
I get that question a lot. And I actually used to get the question when I moved to California because I used to work for Apple back in the day and I used to travel up to California a lot. And that was the first time I ever had an inkling that maybe I would leave Medford. And everybody was like, you're not leaving. Let's be real. And I never made the jump clearly then. And I feel like Disney would be maybe something in the future that I would do, but I don't. It's in my gut, I know it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
I could see myself maybe having another vacation home or something down there. And DVC was the first kind of step in that direction. But I don't think I'd ever be able to live there full time. Courtney, I don't know how you do it in the heat.
You are a DVC then?
Yeah.
Where?
Bay Lake Tower is my home.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the heat is the hot and the cold are both so intense, but I'll stick with the heat down
here.
Put
them together, they just make sense.
Yeah.
Well, I also probably will never move to Florida. I could also see myself maybe having a vacation home, but I will say what we say about the heat because I can't handle it. Like Courtney says about the cold. So and which is also true. We hide out in the winter, they hide out in the summer. It's just
right.
That's what it is.
After Wine and Dine in November, though, I'm pretty sure I melted and was I will never survive if I moved down here.
I went to visit Courtney in the summer this year. I don't remember why. And to see you, yes, but
seasonally,
it was horrible. We went to Lowe's and I was a puddle. I was this isn't fun.
It's the humidity. It's the stickiness.
Yeah. It's just you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah, and we have the extreme hot and the extreme cold. It's so short that you kind of just as you're ready to be over it, it goes away.
Exactly. Okay, we have big topics to talk about here today.
Yeah.
One, Courtney and I are doing the 10K next week.
So excited.
And we're not motivated at all, nor have we trained a whole lot. I mean, I'll toot my own horn. I've trained a little bit more than Courtney, but...
Well, you're on the Peloton a lot. I feel like all that cardio is going to pay off.
It's got to help me a little bit. But so we're here to get some inspiration from you, basically.
Yeah.
You are training to run the Dopey right now.
I am.
You are insane.
Accurate.
For those at home listening, the Dopey she is going to run a 5K, and then the next day a 10K, and then the next day a half marathon, and then the next day a full marathon. So in 4 days, how many miles is that? 48?
Yeah, 48.6.
48.6.
Send help.
What made you decide, I'm going to run Dopey?
Yeah.
It's a great question. And it's funny because my whole life, obviously being in the Boston area, the Boston Marathon is a huge deal. Patriots Day is a huge deal. And every year you watch it and then the next day everyone's I'm going to run a marathon. and then you don't do it, right? Like that's just what we do around here. We say we're gonna and then we don't. And I always said I would never make it. I would never be able to do it. And this past year, we're actually talking about the Granara Scary Trust that I mentioned, talking about getting it in as a Run Disney charity. Oh. And so in my mind, I was like, that would be so cool. We'd be able to, you know, get people to run for us, get some more exposure out. And I sat on the call to figure out, you know, how it all worked. And basically how it worked is the charity has to buy the bibs, and then you pay the charity to run for them and then fundraise so they can recoup the money, and then they get the fundraising money. And I was like, okay, if we get bibs, I'll do Dopey. I will make it. That'll be my mission. I'll run the marathon and we'll go from there. And they wanted you to buy a minimum of 100 bibs. Whoa. I was so glad we were on Zoom. I was glad my camera was off because my jaw was on the floor. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking like
100 bibs. No, like it could be like 100 5K bibs, just 100 marathon weekend bibs, or like 100 Dopey bibs.
Yep, 100 bibs across marathon and Princess Weekend. And I guess it was higher because it's the anniversary years for those two races. Okay. But I was like, 100 bibs. We're like a tiny little charity that my late aunt started when she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer back in 2005. So, you know, we all do it volunteer. We all work full time. Like, it's, you know, we're not a big charity. And I was like, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, for the Boston Marathon, which we've still never been able to get a bib for that, you have to like beg, borrow, and steal to get like a couple. So I was like, okay, I was like, maybe if we can get like 5, we could totally do this. And I almost melted into the chair when they said 100. And I was like, well, we're not going to do that. And I was like, but now it's already in my mind that I would do the marathon or I would do Dopey. So now I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it came from. And I'm dedicating the marathon to my aunt that passed away from pancreatic cancer, and I'm fundraising for the trust. And since it's not like an official charity with Run Disney, I just set a random goal and we're fundraising through my website. So
awesome.
Or through, I should say, the trust, like my page on the trust website. So
please send us that link and we will link that in the show notes and everything, and we'll share it. Because yes, if you're listening, let's all go donate, because that's maybe someday we can get 100 bibs.
That would be amazing. We'll do it.
You never know.
And we're doing something fun where if you want to donate $5, you can pick a song to put on my race playlist. So
any amount, so fun.
I love that.
Yeah. So any amount is incredibly helpful. All the money goes to pancreatic cancer research, specifically at Mass General Hospital. So when my aunt started the foundation, she committed to raising $1 million for research, and she wanted to go directly to her team. And she was like, and we're all going to do it together. We were like, oh, okay, we're going to do this. So we're a little over 1.5 million to date, which is exciting.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we've been able to fund.
I just got like goosebumps.
Yeah. It's been a really wild ride. She passed in 2009 and my aunt took over. And like I said, I'm on the board. A couple of my cousins are on the board as well. So we do all different events throughout the year. And that's 100% been a big part of keeping me motivated through the training and getting me to keep moving.
Wow. That is incredible.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Okay, so I know that this isn't your first Run Disney race.
Yeah.
When was your first Run Disney race? Do you remember?
So I started with Run Disney in actually 2018. My very first medals, if you will, were for the virtual summer series. It was the Incredibles. Mm-hmm. And I did those to train for my first in-person, which was the Princess races in 2019.
Can you remind me what the themes were? That's how I know. What did your medal look like?
So funny enough, I was registered for the 5K and the 10K, and we drank around the world the night before the 5K. So I don't have a 5K medal because we slept instead. And the 10K is Mulan. Oh,
so we did that one.
Got it.
That was the year we only did the 10K. We didn't do the half marathon.
Yeah.
And you have ran a half marathon.
Yes, this will be my 4th Run Disney half marathon, and I've only done halves at Disney. I don't think I'll do anything more than a 10K not at Disney.
Yeah, because what fun is that?
So, have you ever done a full?
No, this will be my first full.
First full, and you're going like hard.
Yep, I'm just going for it.
She committed.
Yep, I committed and I was like, well, here we are. We're just gonna go for it. And I figured if it's gonna be my first and only marathon, I might as well do Dopey and check 2 things off my bucket list and be done so that I don't have to do it again.
You're right.
True.
You're right.
That's my thought.
Okay, so can you tell us how your half marathons went? Because, like, Courtney and I can tell you how our half marathons go, and
they suck.
It sucks. It's not great. Have we ever trained for them? No. So that probably doesn't help our cause. But, like, mile 6 through 10, we're like looking for the bus.
Yeah.
Off mile 1.
It's not great. Like,
they're honestly they're not fun. Like, I've never been one of those people, like, I don't get runner's high. I don't like de-stress when I run. Every single time I'm like, why am I doing this?
Still?
This is terrible. Still. And then when I finish, I'm like, oh, look at me. That was amazing. But during the whole thing, I'm like, this is awful. I hate this and I hate myself. Why did I do it? So it's literally until the end, then I feel good about myself and I feel accomplished.
That's kind of us.
Yeah, that makes me feel better.
Actually, I feel like mile 12 we get like that.
Yes.
Mile 12.
Yeah.
Once you start to see people again towards the end of the races, it definitely helps and makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I'll never forget going into Epcot, the very first half that I did, because I was like, I have no idea if I'm able to do this. We were going from the TTC to Epcot, and someone had a sign, and it said, remember when you thought you couldn't do this? And I started sobbing. Like, I was running like, oh my God. Like, hysterical. I was like, people are going to think I'm hurt, and I'm just emotional. I'm just happy that I'm doing it. And I literally think of that person in that poster every time I do a long run, because every time I'm like, I feel like the first even mile and a half sometimes, no matter what the distance is not fun. Like, your body's still like, oh, we're doing this again. Okay.
We just said that when we talked before recording this pod about how, because we're only doing the 10K this year, which is
still a lot.
Yeah, but it's also like nothing. And we both said, like, it's just the first mile is going to suck. It's going to be so hard. But then you just, like, you get going.
Yeah.
You get going.
And you're like, I can do it.
So
I hope.
You've been training like crazy.
I'm trying. I am
What do you
trying
mean you're
really
trying?
hard.
You, like, go out now and do, like, a half marathon for training.
Yeah, there have been some days where I've gone on like a Friday and gone out and run 13 miles and then gone and worked. And I'm like, who am I? Like, what is happening? Like, Courtney, your face is literally how I feel. Like, looking back at it, the very first 5K that I did, I was like, I will never put running sneakers on again. This was horrible. I hated it. And one of my friends was like, I know you. You're going to find charity races. You're going to love it. You're going to sign up for all this stuff. And I was like, no, hard pass. I'm not doing it. And here we are. But it is truly, looking back, like, I'm not sure how I've gotten to this point. Because before, if you told me a couple of years ago that I'd be running a full or Dopey, I'd be like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, man, you're crazy.
Yeah.
I
100%.
I still wonder why we continue to come back to it. It's this weird phenomenon, like, building up to every race. We're like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why did we sign up for this? What were we thinking? Whatever. And then, like, immediately after, we're like, that was terrible. Let's never do it again. And then, like, 2 hours later, we're both like, hey, you want to do another one?
Yeah.
Like, that's dumb. I don't know the psychological abuse that we're...
Yeah.
1000% agree. I am in that boat with you.
Okay, this is like an odd thing, but so for me, I will never do a full. I know that.
Yeah,
I honestly don't know if I'll ever do a half ever again.
Yeah.
I will never do a full. And I think my problem, this is what I always say, is that I'll never do a half because how do you train your feet for that? Because I almost feel like at the end of a half marathon, my legs could probably keep going and like my actual body could keep going. But it's my feet. My feet hurt so bad. And it's not my shoes. Like, I have great running shoes. I have shoes a half size too big. So, because that's what they say. And it's just, you're on your feet for 13 miles.
Yeah. I felt that the very first half that I did, it was like the bottom of my feet almost felt like a like tingling feeling. Like they were just like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And then once I stopped moving, they were like, now what's happening? And it was just like a weird sore kind of hurt is what I felt. And I've noticed the more, and I really truly think it's the training plan because I'm following the Jeff Galloway Run Disney plan. I swear it has to be that because that's the only thing different than all the other races that I've trained for is like I'm really sticking to the plan and I'm sticking to intervals. Like I'm using like the interval timer, whereas before I would just kind of go with what felt good. And my feet have not, knock on all of the things, everybody knock on any wood around you. My feet have not hurt like that, but it hurt every time I did a half before that.
Yeah. Tell us more about your intervals because we are interval gals also. What are you looking at right now?
So I've been going back and forth on my long runs between running for 90 seconds and walking for 45 seconds or running for 60 and walking for 30. And that seems to be a good cadence for me.
What? You're shaking your head, Courtney.
I would like to walk for 60 and jog for 30. Thank you.
Fair. But I almost feel like I could do that. I'm
like
not
a minute on, 30 off?
Yeah. I could train my way to do it.
Yeah, it's crazy how it actually works. Like in my mind was like, oh, I'm like, looking at my watch, looking at the time, looking at the distance. I got this. And then once I started actually following the timer, it is like it feels like a whole different person is running. It is bananas.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You're not motivating me to run a marathon, but maybe I'll do another half.
If I can do it, anybody can do it. I swear.
Do you, like all your previous half marathons and any Run Disney races, do you do them by yourself?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah, wow. I've usually gone down with people, and I'm very much so like, I don't want anybody to feel like they have to wait for me. I don't want to feel like I'm holding anybody back. I just put my headphones in. I'm like, I'll see you at the end of the race. So I'll usually be there with people, but I usually run by myself. And that's actually why I like running with the Peloton classes, because I feel like I'm with somebody, but I don't have to actually engage in a conversation.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, we're doing the 10K if you want to join us, but we're not going to be able to keep up with you. So just see you. We'll see you at the end.
I will probably I'm probably going to walk the 5K, and I'll probably walk a good amount of the 10K, to be honest.
Smart.
What's your like race pace in the for the half?
I'll still do the same intervals. So I usually will be in like the 12 to 13 minute mile range.
Wow.
That's what I'm hoping for. But it's so funny because I feel like everybody's always like, oh my gosh, I'm so slow. I'm at like a 10-minute mile. And I'm like, I would kill for a 10-minute mile.
Yeah, us too.
Don't mind me back here. So I will definitely not be fast. Everyone's been asking me, they're like, okay, I want to track you. Like, how long is it going to take? And I'm like,
all day.
All day. I hope bring lots of snacks and you'll be fine, but it's going to take me a long time.
Oh man. I'm proud of you, but good for you.
Thanks. Yeah. As long as I finish, that is literally the only goal that I have for the entire weekend. Like, I don't care how fast I go. I don't care how ugly it looks. I don't care if I don't get a single good pass photo. I don't really care what my outfit looks like. As long as I cross the finish line upright, then I'll be good.
That's an accomplishment. Honestly, the amount of training that you put towards this is an accomplishment in itself. So pat yourself on the back before you even start.
And if I don't finish, I'm gonna have a word with Peloton.
Okay, but speaking of Peloton, you are on the Peloton train. You have the bike, yes?
I do.
And you train with the tread classes?
Yeah, I do the tread classes outside. So I usually just kind of like ignore the cues because I don't have the tread.
Of course.
And I really just kind of use it for like coaching and someone telling me that I can do it. I need Olivia Amato to be like, you are fierce, you are amazing, look at you go. And I'm like, look at me go. That's what I need.
Who would you say your favorite instructor is?
On the bike, Cody, all day long. I love Olivia too.
On the
Kendall. Bike? I do like Olivia on the bike, yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't stand her on the bike.
The only thing that I feel like I don't I don't say I don't like about her on the bike is I feel like she laughs a lot of times and I'm like, this is not funny. Why are you laughing? I'm dying over here.
I think she's the size of my pinky and she's at like an 80 resistance, 60 cadence. And I'm like, that's not possible because you don't even weigh enough to do that. So stop making me do this, you liar. Yeah. No. But on the tread, I actually do like her. But on the bike, you'll never catch me in one of her classes ever again.
Yeah. Someone, I forget, I was watching an Instagram live and someone said they met her and she was like 5'6". And I was like, there is no way
she's
she is
not.
5'6".
Wow.
I'm like, she's got to be like 5'2", maybe
she's like
5'1".
4'6".
She looks like this big.
Yeah. No.
So I'm dying to see what she actually looks like in real life.
Well, if I see her in a couple of weeks at the studio, I'll let you know.
Yeah. But I love on the run for runs, I love Maddie. He is my go-to, and I like Olivia's running classes too. Again, I feel like people that are going to just like tell me that I'm amazing and tell me that I can do it is who I need to motivate me.
I feel like those are such opposite people though. Maddie is very like go with the flow. Like I love Maddie, but then I find Olivia to be like very aggressive.
Oh, see, and I've done her like her Disney classes. So maybe it's even like the types of classes that I'm picking where she's not like super.
I'm surprised you don't like Robin.
I do like Robin, and I like Emma Lovewell too, and Allie Love. Sometimes Robin, I feel like gets a little like preachy for me.
I was just gonna say that.
Or like I get it, and like I want you to like be motivating and all that, but sometimes I'm like, can we just mute the instructor so I can just listen to the music and keep going?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I used to love Robin, and she did get a little too preachy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But every once in a while I need that. But
yeah.
Like we get into law school.
Yes. But I'm not going to do that. So, okay. After I already know that you're going to finish Dopey. So once you finish Dopey, is this the end of your running journey or you're going to continue?
So if you think I'm crazy doing Dopey, I am even crazier where I decided that I'm actually going to do, again, because I'm doing Dopey in the full, I'm doing every race of every race weekend this Run Disney season. What? To just kind of like, again, get it off the bucket list and do it.
Wait. So you're like DIY Dopeying every weekend?
Yeah. Yep.
Are you okay?
This weekend and do like the 5K, the 10K, and the half.
Yep. And then springtime surprise, all three. Yeah.
You're gonna get them all up.
Yep. I'm going on the cruise in January and doing the Castaway K 5K. So I'm going to get every medal I possibly can this year. Are you
employed by Run Disney or like what's the angle?
Fill up my medal rack and then maybe not do any more.
Okay. It's like
I think
hard.
Yeah. Princess will probably be one that I'll do every year. Before COVID, my goal was to do Princess every year plus one other race weekend because I had never done any of the other ones. And then now I'm doing all of them. And because everyone says that like the vibes are so different and the races are different.
I agree with that.
So I really wanted to try them all. And I figured this is pull the Band-Aid off and just do it all at once. But after this year, I think, like I said, I'll do Princess and then maybe one other race weekend each year, but I honestly don't know that I'll do more than a 10K unless I miraculously change into a different person after Dopey and love running. And I don't think that's going to happen.
Are you a morning person?
Nope. I'm not really a morning person. And
just checking.
Yeah, nope. Don't really love that either. And I love to drink, to be honest. And so I was like, Courtney, I know you got me there. And I've been drinking a lot of like non-alcoholic beers around, like through training and stuff where I'm like, I can't be too tired. I'm going to have to run tomorrow. So I also don't want to keep myself in like a forever training cycle. I want to really give myself breaks.
Wow. Your commitment.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Going for it.
You are going for it. I'm speechless and I'm tired thinking about it, but good for you.
I'm going to celebrate a lot. One of my goals for the half, because I have a group of friends and family that are coming down for marathon weekend. I was like, that race, one of you better have a beer for me when I get into Epcot. Because I want to cross the finish line with a beer.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
That is probably the biggest goal that I have out of all of these is finish Dopey and cross a finish line with a beer.
I love it.
I love that.
Okay. Do you have any advice for somebody who is going to run Dopey or wants to run Dopey? It's the advice is not going to me or Courtney because we will not be doing that. But if anybody's listening, do you have any advice?
I would say to do it. It is something that like I said, I always said I would never do a marathon. I would never do Dopey. I never thought I was going to even do a half. But I would say find something that does motivate you to want to do it. It is a lot of miles. One of the things that Amanda from Once Upon a Marathon on Instagram, she was the only person that I ever saw post about this. And she had said, it's really going to take a lot of your time. It's going to be like a full-time job. And I was like, it's like 3 days a week. It can't be that bad. And it is so true where it's like every day, either you're running, you ran yesterday, or you're running tomorrow. So it like somehow impacts all of the things, right? So like I said, I love to go to concerts. I love to go to games, love to go out with family and friends. So like there's a lot that you have to kind of adjust in your schedule. So make sure you find something that's going to keep you motivated to do it. Keep yourself grounded to why you're doing it, because that is something that has pushed me a lot. I actually do some loops for my trainings in my area and actually run by my aunt's house on every single loop. So I'm like, girl, you better keep my legs moving because I'm tired. So finding ways to keep you motivated, doing a Peloton class or finding a playlist that you like, whatever that is going to help. And then finding a training plan that works that you can stick to is also huge, because I had no idea what to do. And everybody was like, the Galloway plans are great. And I had used those before to start running Disney. Like I said before, that has been a game changer for me. Like actually having a schedule of what to run, when, how to run. It tells you when to do a run walk, when to walk, when to run. So they really help with a lot of that too. So I would say those would be the 3 biggest pieces for me. And I think if I didn't do any of those, I would not be as confident going into next week as I feel right now.
Wow. I'm just good for you.
Yeah, amazing.
It really is. Like,
well, I can't wait to see you two next week. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah, we will have to definitely meet up when we're there. I won't.
Yeah.
I was going to say I would love to celebrate you, but I leave Saturday morning, so I can't celebrate you on Sunday. But I will be celebrating you virtually.
We'll have to do another one.
Yes. Good for you, though. Wow.
Thanks.
I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been really fun and something that I put out there a lot on Instagram so that, one, I can kind of hold myself accountable. But so many people have been like, I'm going to sign up for Run Disney because I've seen how much you love it. And that's been really cool, too, to just like have so many good conversations with people about their Dopey journey, or, you know, them saying, hey, I want to run my first 5K. Like, what do I do? How do I get there? I want to go to Disney. That's been, I think, one of the coolest, most unsuspecting parts of it, where I was like, I'm doing this to kind of put it out there and hold myself accountable. And so many other people have been like, I'm jumping on the train. I want to do it too. So that's been a lot of fun to have a lot of those conversations too.
I just have this weird feeling this isn't your last full marathon, but
people have already been like, so you're going to do Boston, right? I'm like, no.
We'll see. You will. I'll go stand on the sidewalk to cheer you on for that.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you're doing it.
The thing is, though, like, thank God Florida races are flat. I mean, there is like the on-ramp or whatever that you have to run up at some point during the halves that's kind of nasty, but like, not really.
Yeah. Comparatively, they're flat.
Compared to like Boston, isn't there like Heart Attack Mile or something?
Yeah. Heartbreak Hill, Yeah,
see?
Yeah, and even in the area, because actually two of the other races that I love to do in the Boston area, one is the BAA 5K. So they kind of, it's usually, I think, the Saturday before the marathon. And you get kind of like a part of the course around there. Even that is a little bit hilly. And then the Run to Home Base, which is also in that area, it is awesome. And it supports the Home Base Foundation. And you get to cross the finish line, and then you get to cross home plate inside Fenway Park. Cool. That is also an awesome one. But though that whole area is all hills. And I'm like, this is enough for me.
Yeah, that's a no.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on.
Yes.
I am kind of motivated, though. Are you, Courtney?
Let's do it.
Like, I'm not running a full, but, like, we could try better on our 10K.
Yeah.
We'll do it together.
Okay, great. Okay, so you also have a podcast.
I do.
Living the KG Life. I have been on it. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Courtney, we already decided we're going to go on it in we'll do like a part 2 of this pod. Maybe we'll have a recap of Marathon Weekend.
Yeah.
But what made you want to start a podcast?
It's funny. I had for a long time have been thinking about being a vacation planner because I love talking to people about Disney, and people ask me all the time, where do you stay? Where do you shop? What do you do? Where should I go? What should my plans be? And a friend of mine who also has a podcast, shout out to John and Juliana With Good Energy, they messaged me and they're like, we want you to come on the podcast and talk about Disney. I was like, okay, that sounds like fun. Let's do it. And I went on, and it was like a really high level, like what to think about in planning a Disney trip. And when I left, I was like, holy shit, I could talk about so much stuff in that kind of a venue. So I went home and I made a list of like all the other things that we could have talked about that we just kind of like scratched the surface on. And when the episode came out, people messaged me and they're like, I would totally listen to an entire podcast of you talking about Disney. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds like fun. And I was like, I could do that instead of being a vacation planner, because I could help so many more people and share all this information. And what I do for work full time is I work at a company where we create online education and certifications, and I'm the manager of learning operations. So I was like, I could take kind of the methodology of how we create our content at work and put it to a podcast in terms of like how we structure our content, our learning objectives, and kind of taking that instructional design type of mindset and put it to the podcast. So I was like, let's just try it out and see how it goes. My brother, who is our producer and the editor, he is into video and audio. He's like, I'll do all the editing stuff. And he's like, let's see how it goes. And I was like, okay. So yeah, we launched in August of 2021. So we're a little over a year and a half.
Wow.
Right? I can't really do math right now. Went to art school, so
I wrote it down. You have 74 episodes.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're crushing it, because this is not easy.
No.
Thanks. Well, it's funny because when I thought about it, I was thinking about it kind of like from the work perspective of like, how do we create education? We look at learning objectives. What's the one thing we want someone to be able to do when they finish a lesson, when they finish a course? So I was thinking of it from, what's the one thing I would want someone to walk away from after listening to an episode? Can they book something? Do they feel confident in information that I shared, whatever the case may be? And then I was thinking, okay, well, what do people ask me about a lot? And it's always, where do you stay? How long should I go to the parks for? What rides do you like? Where do you shop? Where do you get your shirts from? Where do you get your ears from? What do you pack? All that kind of stuff. And one of the first things I said to Jimmy was like, I'm not going to be able to talk. I mean, I could talk to a wall, but I'm not going to do that every week. And I said, I also don't want it to feel like it's only what I do is the right way to do Disney, because everyone does Disney differently.
For sure.
I was like, so I would want people to come on and share what they like to do, what they don't like to do. And then I was thinking about the shops, which is why you were one of the first people that reached out to. And was like, I want you to come on and tell us, what is it about Pixie Lee & Co. that's so special to you, and why people should shop from Shelby? And you know what I mean? Like, I wanted people to tell their stories more than just people hearing why I love Disney.
Yeah.
So I think that can get very boring. And like I said, I work full time. So I was like, I don't want to be a news person. I don't live down there. It's going to be really hard to be like in the know. So I was like, let me just kind of take that approach of it being more of sharing stories and sharing information and putting it out there for people to use. And it seems like it's been going pretty well so far. I've been kind of putting it into segments. So we have, sharing magic. We have creating magic, which is the segment we had you come on and talk about Pixie Lee & Co. So it's been really fun, and people have been so supportive, even with all like the Run Disney stuff. And we had people come on and talk about Run Disney and their experiences. So it's been pretty awesome, and definitely gone, I think, a lot better than I thought it would. I was just kind of like, no one's going to give a shit about what I have to say about Disney.
74 episodes in. This is episode 21 for us, and we're like struggling. So that's really good.
Yeah, it's been fun. And I think that's one of the things that even whether it's a podcast or running, as long as it's fun, and if you can keep it fun, you'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
When it's not fun anymore is when you don't want to do it.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, running is never really fun for me. I just do it because the fun is at the end. So I'm like, if I can get to the end, that's where I can find the fun.
You're not wrong. And we're still having fun. So.
Yeah. I love the idea of like a motivational beer at the end. That's fun.
I've seen so many people where like I was saying to somebody the other day where we were talking about like the courses, and I was like, I have no idea if I run past that. I legit like black out
Yeah.
I don't know what happens. I end up at the finish line. But I've seen people where like you come around to a certain pot at Epcot and I'm like, where'd you get that beer from? I would love an ice cold Bud Light right now. Where did you get that from? Can I please have it? And the last half that I did, I came around and one of the kiosks was open and I didn't have my ID with me. And they were checking IDs and I was like, no.
Lesson
like
learned.
I could have fallen to my knees and like the skies could have opened. So one of my friends, like I said, I was like, you need to have a beer for me. Just hand it. I'm going to chug it and then I'm going to finish. That's going to be my goal.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What would you say your goals are for Living the KG Life podcast?
That's a good question. And I get asked that a lot. People are like, do you want to monetize? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? I'm like, I just really want to talk about Disney with people and just make it fun.
Yeah.
I think if I could monetize and like do some of that stuff, that would be great. Because it, as you all probably know, it's not cheap or free to run a podcast either.
Or it's time consuming.
Yeah, it's time consuming from recording and editing and all of those different pieces. All the social part of it is a lot too.
We're not good at that.
And where I'm just like, you know what? I just want to keep it fun and just talk about fun Disney stuff with people.
Yeah.
That's really like the only goal that I have. So I feel like if I try to keep it simple like that, then I'll still want to do it. I feel like if I do too much or not necessarily set too high of a goal, but set too like serious of a goal, then it will feel like a job, if that makes sense. And I don't want to get too much into that world.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes me a little nervous.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. If it keeps it almost like a hobby and it's fun. Yeah.
I feel like I'm like shooting the shit with my friends. That's what it's meant to be.
That's what Courtney and I do. That's why
I love your podcast.
We literally feel like that's all we do. Well, you are way more professional about your podcast, honestly, than we are. So do you have any tips for somebody who would also want to start a podcast? I have a feeling your answer is going to be like, just do it, like you said, for Run Disney. But any good tips?
I would say in terms of starting would be just do it. But one of the things that I think really benefited me is all of the experience that I have from work of how we organize things. So whether it's, the guide that I put together and send out for people, how we schedule. I have a calendar that people can just sign up on their own. I don't want to be hunting people down or be like, I want you to come on my podcast, please, and like have to feel like I'm forcing people. So I try to make it as easy as possible. And I think that's a big piece is the easier you can make it on yourself, the easier you can make it on people you want to have on as a guest and keep it fun. That is, to me, what would make a successful podcast for sure. And I think finding the tools that will help you to do that is really important. And again, that's a lot of what we do at work. I'm in operations, so I'm always trying to find how do we make this more efficient? How do we make this cleaner? How do we make this smoother? That's been huge. And there's a ton of free tools out there. Like I use the Gmail and the Google Suite. I use a tool called Airtable, which is kind of like spreadsheets on steroids almost, where you can like make a database. So I put my ideas in there. All my episodes are linked in there. Anything that can kind of keep it organized and together is huge. And a lot of that stuff is free. It just takes a little bit of time to get it set up, but it's been a huge, huge help, and especially it being just myself and my brother, which, you two are in the same boat. Like it's only the two of you. So, you have to make sure that it, and the rest of you, and all your background team. Yes. That's, you got to try to make all that stuff easy for everyone to stay on the same page.
And you do a great job of that. And we actually,
Thanks.
I learned how to do an interview guide because of you sending me an interview guide. So we really appreciate that. But you were so professional when you had me on. I was like blown away. And when Courtney and I started, I was like, we have to like be better about this. And that we aren't because you're on our podcast right now. And it was like, we've tried to schedule you 3 times and we're just like not really good at it, but we're learning.
It happens.
We are learning.
It happens. But I also, my whole career has been, like I said, I'm in operations for learning now, but I've been a trainer, a facilitator, instructional designer. Like that's what my career's been in. So it kind of was like easy to transition over to. And if anybody wants or has questions about that, I am also always open to talk about that stuff, help anybody get set up with any of those things, whether it's a podcast or something separate, any kind of social stuff. I'm always happy to help.
Maybe we need to reach out.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a course in your future. I feel like you're going to design a course of some sort.
Yes.
And like, I'm here for it.
how to create and run your podcast.
Yeah.
How to create and run, or
life.
How to book the perfect Disney trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody actually the other day, I had a fundraiser for the run, and somebody was like, you should create like an ebook on how to fundraise for whatever a cause might be. So I got a lot of courses and ebooks in the future, I think.
Yeah, I can feel that energy from you. I feel like that's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so before you have to leave us with your tip to live magically. Yeah. So be thinking about that. But before then, we have some rapid fire questions. This is a Disney podcast. So we have some rapid fire questions to ask you before we get that tip.
Ready.
Okay. Your favorite park?
Magic Kingdom.
Yes. Team Shelby.
Always. Always and forever.
This is not rapid fire, but just real quick, can you put all 4 parks in order? Because this is a popular question we get.
I'm always fascinated when you talk about this on your podcast.
Okay.
I would, and I don't know that Courtney's going to like my answer, but Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot are maybe tied for like a 2A and 2B, and Animal Kingdom last. And I also had not even gone to Animal Kingdom until 2019 when we went because my niece and nephews wanted to go. I always skipped it. I will say it has grown a big part of my heart, but it is definitely still the bottom.
Maybe you join us on our Animal Kingdom Day next week, and Courtney can make it better for us.
Show me all the things.
Your favorite resort?
So I would say for non-DVC Art of Animation I just think the theming of that resort is incredible. And DVC, I would say Bay Lake Tower, because it's my
your
resort.
Home. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I can walk to Magic Kingdom. That was literally a huge reason why I bought it.
I would do the same. Agreed. Yeah. And your must ride at each park. So we'll start with Magic Kingdom.
That's I feel like the toughest one for me. I feel like it's a Space Mountain.
Oh, okay.
Especially the holiday overlays of Space Mountain.
Yeah, those were fun. Favorite. Those were fun. We're going parks here. Hollywood Studios.
Rise of the Resistance.
How do you feel about Mickey's Runaway Railway?
I do love Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I know that's a fave of yours.
I just have to make sure everybody likes it.
Yeah, I do like it. I just feel like it's a little. I will say the first couple of times I rode it was during COVID, and they didn't have the pre-show, and I was like, "What is happening?"
I agree.
Yeah,
what is going on in this ride?
Couldn't agree more.
And then when they brought that together, that made
the whole ride
more sense.
Yes,
1000% completely changed my mind on that ride.
Yes, couldn't agree more. Epcot.
Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
It's so
for
good.
Sure.
It's so good.
So good. And before Cosmic Rewind, drinking around the world. I don't do anything else when I go to Epcot, to be honest. And now that Cosmic Rewind is there, I have to go do that before I drink.
I was just going to say,
no way.
Yeah,
I'm going to do it after drinking.
Yeah, and Animal Kingdom,
Expedition Everest.
What?
Mm-hmm. I love Everest.
Okay.
Wow.
Everyone says safari.
Yeah.
I like the safari, and because the animals make it different every time you go.
Yeah.
And I like Flight of Passage, but she likes she likes roller coasters. Adrenaline gets her. Yeah. When I went in May, we rope dropped Animal Kingdom, and the line was empty. We back to back. We did it 3 times in a row. That will definitely be the cap of how many times to do that in a row.
Courtney can't even think about doing it once.
Oh, it's the best.
I do like it.
The backwards motion.
It gets you,
That's, I think, what gets you.
I agree.
Oof.
And supposedly during the full, when you get into Animal Kingdom, people will ride Expedition Everest during the full.
Yes.
And depending on how far I am from the balloon ladies, because I have a feeling they will not be too far from me.
No, they're going to be far from you.
If they're far, I might try to get that into, because again, I'll probably never do it again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You're going to. I know it. And your favorite snack? Disney snack.
Also a tough one, but just like a straight up Mickey ice cream bar.
That's Courtney.
Yes.
Classic. I like that.
See, that's why when I listened to your podcast, I was like, I'm just going to come hang out with them.
Yeah. Please.
Meant to be my friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
I fly in on Wednesday, although you only live like an hour from me, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I fly in on Tuesday night, so because I was like nervous for the expo. So
where are you staying?
I'm staying all over the place. So I'm actually very lucky at work. Every 5 years you get a sabbatical. So I'm taking the month of January for that, and I'm doing marathon weekends. I'll be at Saratoga Springs for a few nights, and then I'll be at Old Key West for a few nights, and then I'm doing a Disney week, and I'll be at Pop Century, and then I'm going on a Disney cruise for a week. And then when I get back, I'm going to stay another night at Pop Century so I can go to Festival of the Arts one more time before I go home.
I love it. The most magical January you've ever heard of?
I can't wait. I have like, these are my last couple days to work until I leave. And I'm like,
that is awesome.
Down there. And I'm actually on Monday going to the Winter Classic. So the Winter Classic technically starts the sabbatical. So
amazing.
I'm very excited.
Okay, so before we let you go.
The Winter Classic.
Oh, yeah.
Courtney said, what is that?
Yeah,
the Bruins are playing at Fenway Park.
Sports ball. Wait, the Bruins? Wait.
The hockey team.
Bruins play hockey.
Are playing.
Fenway Park is a baseball stadium.
Correct. Yes.
Look at her. She knows.
I am so proud.
Thank you.
And it only happens like, I don't think they've ever, well, no, they have played at Fenway before, but it's only like a one-time thing.
I'm confused about how they make ice happen, but
it's very cold here.
I'll send you pictures. It is wild.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
I went when they had the game at Gillette. I didn't go to the last Fenway game, but the Gillette game was also pretty You know
what I went to at Fenway once was, it's not like the X Games, but they literally built a jump like for snowboards and skiers, and they were like jumping in Fenway Park. It was wild.
That was a couple of years ago, I think, right?
It was had to have been like 5 or 6, 7 years ago by now, but it was a long time ago.
That COVID timeline. Just,
yeah.
But it was like really unique. I was like in a baseball park watching that. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we let you go, you have to leave us with your tip to how to live magically, and that can do with any aspect in life. So what you got for us?
I would say, and this would apply to any of those things, is to either not be afraid to do things and not be afraid to do them alone, or if you are afraid, do it anyway. I feel like it took me too long to realize in life that life is short. You never know what's going to happen, and you can't wait around for other people to either want to do what you want to do the same thing that you want to do. You can still have a fantastic time traveling by yourself, training by yourself, whatever it is you want to do by yourself, do it. My life changed a lot after the Boston Marathon bombings, which is almost 10 years ago. I was on Boylston Street, and I feel like it took something that traumatic to happen for me to say, like, I'm not doing this kind of stuff anymore. I'm not doing, working a shitty schedule. I'm not holding back on certain things with family or friends, saying I love you, hanging out with people, reconnecting, whatever the case may be. It shouldn't have to take something catastrophic, traumatic to happen for you to say, I want to do something and I'm going to go do it. And I think that is so important for people to remember that you can make the change tomorrow. You can make the change right now to say, this is going to make me happy. These are the people, things that I love that make me happy that I want to do or be with. Do it. So it's kind of like, yes, still, it's always going to be, the answer is going to be just do it. But do it even if you have to do it by yourself. I had never traveled alone until I was traveling for work with Apple. And that was one of the best gifts that I received as an adult, was to learn how to go and sit at a restaurant by yourself, go to the movies, because then it turned into like, hey, I could go travel by myself. And I would say, hey, I'm going to go down to the beach, or I'm going to go to Disney. If anybody wants to come, you're welcome to come, but I'm going. Want to join me? Come on over. And that has, I think, led to so many amazing memories that I've made for myself.
Yeah.
I didn't have to make them with someone or for someone. I got to do it myself and enjoyed what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And I think that's also empowered me to make some of those decisions, like run a marathon or
you're not just running a marathon, you're running the Dopey.
Running Dopey, yeah. All of those things. And I set a goal of raising $10,000 for pancreatic cancer research. I'm almost at 20. And it is like mind blowing to me that like all of this kind of stuff is like all coming together. But a lot of it is because I was like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And I want to do it. And I, again, found the reason why. So it's do it even if you're afraid, do it even if you have to do it alone, and find what it is that makes you happy, that makes you motivated, and just makes you excited to do, fill in the blank, whatever it is that you want to do.
Wow.
That would be my tip.
I love it.
I love it too. You're incredible.
Thanks. You guys are incredible.
No, but you like really are.
Yeah.
You're just like crushing it in every aspect of life. And
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard. I have my last big goal of this year is I'm actually also in grad school and finishing my master's degree. And that's my last big piece that I'm trying to wrap up in my sabbatical as well. So there's, again, if you want to do it.
What does she not do?
There's always going to be something that you can find a way to make it happen if you want to do it. You know,
Oh my
sit in your
gosh.
dining room like me and talk to your friends about Disney, or train for a marathon, or finish grad
Wow.
school, or whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it. And if you need someone in your corner to cheer you on, to tell you can do it,
It's her.
DM me on Instagram. We will talk about it. I will FaceTime with you, help you make your plan. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. I promise.
Speaking of, where can they find you on Instagram? Where's your podcast at? All of that.
Yes. At Living the KG Life on the gram. It's the name of the podcast. You can find it on basically all the major streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, a whole bunch of other ones that, like, I don't even know
Yeah, same.
who uses those platforms, but they're out there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
And we have new episodes every Monday.
and we are going
Nice.
to please send us your link for your fundraising, and so we can post that there.
Okay.
I'm sure
Thank
you
you
can
so
find
much.
it on her Instagram.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us. And
Gosh, thanks for having me. I can't wait to have you two on Living the KG Life to talk about your
yes,
podcast.
we definitely will.
Yeah.
And let's make plans to meet up next week when I'm down there, you're down there, and of course when we go see Courtney.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. And I cannot wait to talk to you after you finish your Dopey, because I know you're finishing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's gonna
You
be
got
awesome.
this, bro.
Oh, I need that. That's what I need. It's all I need. Is everyone to just say, like, you can do it, and I'll just keep.
You can do
repeating
it.
to
Look at
myself
all the
I
stuff
can
that
do
you
it.
just said you're doing. If you can do all
Yeah.
of that, you are doing the Dopey.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about it.
I have no fear for you,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I have a lot.
No, please do not.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on. We will chat soon.
You guys are the best.
and
I'll see you next week.
good luck to all the
Woo!
runners out there who are running. This came out on Monday. If you're running,
Yes.
good luck to all of you. Yes.
And come say hi if you see us at any of the races. I don't want to
Yes.
speak for Shelby and Courtney.
No,
but I
no, no.
will.
Yeah,
Come say hi to all
Say
of us.
hi. Awesome. Well, so good to have you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Bye.